Okay, Coach, the playoffs are back at Lambeau, and the temps, well, they're where you would expect them in the frigid range. Just how the Cheeseheads like it here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Coming up, it's a battle to represent the NFC in this year's Super Bowl, and we've got a classic in store between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. One of these teams will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time. Which will it be as we're underway in the NFC title game? And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
Watch the run, watch the run.
From the gun, Jackson. Throwing middle, and it's complete. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. 11 yards and a Green Bay Packer first down. Jackson. Over the middle, it's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 13 yards, first down, Packers. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Jackson, and an alley to run. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one. Picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble. On 1st and 10, it's Jackson. And that'll be incomplete.
Chances are good he's going to be a very busy guy. 2 catches already in this opening drive, and they were looking his way for a third.
I think they put this defense on notice that could be a really, really frequent combination. 2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line.
Cut. Joker. Shit.
To throw again, Jackson. And he comes back with one complete. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 17-yard line.
Well, I know from past experience, before you actually play a game, you visualize what's going to happen. And I don't know anyone who doesn't visualize themselves being in the center of what's going on. That's 3 catches for him here in the early going. He's got to like the way this is started.
Absolutely. 3 catches on any drive is good. Opening drive, that's a tone setter. And they'll get him down right around the 16. The corner, Stephon Gilmore, on the stop.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
From the 16, Jackson. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Fletcher Cox, the defensive tackle, getting in there for a loss of 5. Now it's Jackson. And the pressure gets to him again. Fletcher Cox, his 2nd sack of the night. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
These playoff games have a tendency to be tight. You have to wonder if that missed field goal could haunt them later.
Yeah, we're always looking for the key plays, right? The ones that we're going to magnify. Usually those happen in the second half or later in the game. This might be the key play of the game showing up here in the first half.
Let's go.
Now a chance to take advantage of that missed field goal. 1st and 10, way up at the 37. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Completes it to Hardman. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
Miles Sanders, first carry of the game. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
It's a gain of 6. And it's 3rd down.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Now back to throw. He's going to float this one deep right side. And this is caught at the 20. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A big play there. 57 yards as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Elliott good with a PAT, and it's now a 7-0 game. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. This one fielded at the 5. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line.
First down 10 at their own 30-yard line.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they had compiled a pretty long drive last time. Unfortunately, though, it ended with no points after the... And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down. Von Miller able to get him down behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of a yard. Another try after the first down sack. Jackson. And that going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's third down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. From the gun, it's Jackson. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. This is taken at the 18. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And they'll be looking to make this a 2-score advantage. Had the touchdown on their first drive, Charles. Hey, they can get up 2 scores here on the road. That's a heck of a start.
And not only have
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest ones, maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
And let's see, the Packers defensively 6 DBs, so a dime look on third.
Could play coverage or bring pressure.
They'll look to throw here. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They could not contain Kenny Clark as he gets home for the sack.
Brandon, what I remember most about playing with guys who knew how to rush the passer, they would just tell you, just cover people for me, just long enough for me to get there. And that's exactly what happened on that play.
It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. And 3 and out on the last drive. No points on the scoreboard. A little soul-searching now?
I would say so, and they need to help out their defense a little bit. They've had to be on the field a lot more than normal, put them in some tough spots. But what's the old adage? When you get another chance, it gives you a better chance to do it right.
Well, the 2nd down throw on target. His first catch in this NFC Championship game, and it's a 1st down.
Check. Lucky. Tighten up.
Throwing now, Jackson on 1st down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Now it's Jackson. Drops it to Jones in the flat. And he'll go down at the 28. That one, a first down pickup of 8. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw is Jackson. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
Jackson now on 2nd and 10. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Bowman.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
The 2nd down completion got him 7. Now here's 3rd and 3. Again, Jackson. Well, the two men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up 4th down. Problems on 3rd down so far in this first half. Relatively small sample size, but they're now 0 for 3.
And the average in the league, somewhere around 40% on 3rd down for offenses. So what's the answer to this? Either convert them or don't get the 3rd down in the first place. Get your big chunks of yards on 1st and 2nd down.
So 3 drives now for this offense, and that field goal gives them their first 3 points.
So if you're an offensive coordinator and you're averaging a point a drive, you're in the wrong line of work, aren't you? You got to find a way to unlock the key to these defenses and put some big points on the board.
Let's go. Let's go.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
Let's get off the field, D. Let's get
On 2nd down now. It's Sanders. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big. And they insert their dime package, 6 DBs here on 3rd and 6.
Expecting pass all the way.
Come to me, it's me.
They'll drop the throw. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. He's picked off near his own 48, and they'll set up shop right near midfield at the 49-yard line.
Interception all day, baby. Let's get this.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. And he won't get much. Maybe a couple. Down inside the 35 to the 34. 2 minutes remain in the first half of this NFC Championship. A reminder, as we've done all year, we'll send you to Orlando for our EA Sports halftime report. In a bit, the coach is with us per usual as we start to look ahead, Charles, to our potential matchups in this year's Super Bowl.
Break it down, Coach. Break it down.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
He was covered by Stephon Gilmore.
So here we go. The offense is going to stay out there. They're going for it on 4th and 8. They'll try and throw for it with Jackson. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Malik Hooker. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, it's a cold night, and whether you're a quarterback that wears a glove on his throwing hand or not, that ball is a rock, Brandon. You've got to really drive it through the cold and the wind, or it can take off on you. And that may have been what happened there.
Come on,
the Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
Ready up.
Stay with your man.
Snap.
And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part to get on the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. A good return there, 17 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And now with still more than a minute to go in what's been a tight game, you figure we'll try to see them move the ball downfield.
And remember, they get the kickoff to start the second half.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller able to drop him that time for his 2nd sack of the evening. To try again after the sack. Jackson, and this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
It is tough to complete passes against zone defenses. The windows that you see open, they shrink pretty rapidly. How about being able to hit a moving target against a zone before the next guy can get there and make a play on the ball?
Not easy for any quarterback, no matter the situation, and there the defense won the battle. There's Jackson on 3rd and long. Buying time to his left. Now he'll throw deep. Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Throwing back across his body. Picked up by Malik Hooker. And the return across midfield and to the 46-yard line.
You're trailing. You're trying to get points late in half. I absolutely understand that. But remember, it's all about the ball. And without the ball, you can't get those points. They just turned it over.
Now you got to be careful because that deficit can get a little bigger on the other side with that good field position they just took over with. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10.
At the Packers' 46-yard line.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
Go. Hey, orbit.
It's going to be a long
2nd and 10. And complete to Zach Ertz. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1. So 3rd and 2. This quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped.
Let's go.
61, match box, black line.
Now the ball comes loose, and the Packers pick it up. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. And in this very cold night air, how much harder, Charles, is it to hang on to that football?
It's a lot harder, and I know for the most part we think about a ball being slick when there's rain or snow, any type of moisture. But when it's cold and dry like this, and it is cold, it's also slick that way because you're not able to really grip it the same way. Your hands are cold, and then the hits seem harder. So, yeah, it's a lot more difficult to hold on to the football, which means you have to emphasize it that much more.
Wind chills right now, 12 degrees. That first down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. Here's Jackson to throw. Going deep downfield for Ross. And that is incomplete. 7 seconds remaining. They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. And now they'll take a timeout defensively. After the 2nd down play, they burn the timeout, making them sweat out the final few ticks here in the 2nd quarter. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
Check.
Now Jones. Now that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice hit, boy.
And likely time for one final play here in the half, so they will go for it on 4th down. So we've reached halftime here in the NFC Championship. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, the Hallis Trophy still hangs in the balance as the 2nd half now underway in the NFC Championship game. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the 3rd quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the 1st half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the 1st half.
We'll see if they do just that. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Not much there. Maybe a couple up to the 35.
Tough 1st half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Watch the screen. Check the Quickstone, travel.
This is the Oklahoma State alum, Chris Carson. He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And that'll bring up 4th down. The Eagles send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. Harris now to return. That'll go as a punt of 34 yards that time. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line. And with the way this offense has played thus far, to be frank, they got to feel pretty grateful to be in the ball game.
I would agree with you totally because they've done all of nothing offensively in this game, yet they still find themselves in a position on this drive where a touchdown can give them the lead. They need to take advantage of it.
And they're still looking for that first touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. All they have so far, the field goal. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be 3rd down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
We're into the 2nd half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off.
Mike 20.
Here we go on 4th down with Jackson. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. Give him 15 there, and the Packers have a first. Now Jackson on 1st down.
As a defender, I always found the slant route extremely difficult to cover unless you're able to jump on top of it early, because once he gets his hands on the ball, he's at full speed going away from you.
It all happens in the blink of an eye, doesn't it?
It really does. The timing is so important. That ball's got to be out of the hands of the quarterback and to the receiver like that. And if it is, you often get a very successful play.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Jackson. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. On 3rd down, Jackson looks to throw, fires right side, and that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's 4th down. They converted once earlier in this drive, but they'll roll the dice here again on 4th down. To throw is Jackson. Throwing on 4th down. And my goodness, this is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Eagles defense able to hold. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on 4th down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, you and I have both been to practices where we've seen, hey, 3rd down situation, big 3rd down alert, lock in here, 4th down play, make sure you focus just a little bit extra. It didn't pay off in that situation.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Hey, Charlie.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. He'll get just a yard on the scramble. It's 2nd down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
Here we go. 60 on.
Watch the screen.
Smith.
44, Mike, 44.
Get it.
On 2nd down, it's Sanders. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Check. Let's go. Let's get this ball back for the offense. Let's go. 44 is the Mike.
Hey.
44 is the Mike. Drop
Hey, Alpha.
So that'll back him up 5. After the delay, they're backed up even further for 3rd and long.
Zipper.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Looking middle, and that's complete. And this is going to result in another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Packers' 37.
A gain of 14. 1st down, Eagles.
Back now at Lambeau. It's the Eagles in possession of the football and leading this one as we get ready to start the final quarter. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Watch the slant.
Any weapon.
Safety's creeping.
Now.
They'll set up a throw. Flush to his right. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Zadarius Smith. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's third and very long. They're going to look to throw. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz. And they'll get him down at about the 37, well short of the first. They do get 10 back, but still a ways to go on fourth. So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This from 54 yards away. And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. From a defensive perspective, though, I think maybe they're saying, hey, we did what we needed to do, kept this a one-score game.
Yeah, without a doubt, because they were able to bleed some time off the clock, right? Put themselves in a good position, but it's not out of reach yet, okay? Being able to hold them to a field goal means that they do have a chance to come back and win this game.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And on that last drive, went for it on fourth, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on fourth down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here, because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3, and that's exactly what happened there.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. Throwing is Jackson. A dump underneath to Jones. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. 11 yards and a Green Bay Packer first down. The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Call it a pickup of 7, and it'll be a 2nd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And now a throw here secured by his running back out of the backfield. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down. Jackson on first down. Finding a safety valve here. That's complete. Jones hit, and the ball's out.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. Now a man open down the middle of the field. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 29-yard line.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Throwing on first down, it's Jackson. And he will find his man on the outside.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Jackson now. And that one falls incomplete, breaking his string of 7 straight passes completed.
And there was a good opportunity that just went awry there, a drop pass. I guess that's why they call them running backs and not catching backs.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Jackson now, throwing again. Got a man open, it's Ross. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So it's Packer football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. One of the bigger plays in the game thus far. The crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. Jackson will throw again. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. Figuring they're going for it on 4th down. Remember, though, they do have all 3 timeouts, so even if they don't get it, all is not lost.
Yeah, normally in this situation, when you're talking about having to go for it, everything is in this play. But as you noted, with those 3 timeouts, they actually have a little bit of a safety net.
They're going on 4th down. It's Jackson. And no, it's incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Eagles defense able to hold. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a first down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand. I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line, and I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get him behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. Another run with Sanders. And down he'll go at the 25. A gain of just a yard, but it's a first down.
It's nice every now and then in this game not to see people overthink it. Just hand it to the old reliable guy. Let him pick up the first down.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with 65 seconds remaining. The Eagles in the victory formation as they take a knee. Now the Packers going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as it comes with 1:04 left to go in the game.
Ready, ready! 60 Pittsburgh!
I don't think you got it, son!
Ready, ready!
The Eagles in the victory formation as they take a knee.
A loss of a yard brings up 4th down.
The Eagles send out their punter now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. The Eagles send out their punter now as he'll come on to kick this one away. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. This is Harris. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. Critical condition here, obviously. Got to hope to get something quick right and then maybe take that shot deep.
And once they do take the big shot, you've got to worry on defense. Of course, no one getting behind the defense and make it an easy throw. But nowadays, it's not just the ball being tipped in the air and people in the end zone in a cluster. It's that guy that's short in the end zone who comes up and ends up making the play because he goes unguarded. So there's a lot to think about if you're playing defense in this situation.
We'll see if they can cover all their bases. The second down attempt there knocked down as it leaves the quarterback's hand, and it's incomplete. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. He's going to let it fly. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty.